I was 67 when I got the email that broke my heart. It was a Tuesday morning, and I was in my kitchen sipping coffee when my phone pinged. The subject line read, "Wedding plans." My daughter Sophie was getting married in a week, and I'd been sewing her veil by hand, dreaming of walking her down the aisle. I opened the email, expecting details about the rehearsal dinner. Instead it said, "Mom, don't come to the wedding. Watch through livestream, okay? It's better this way." My coffee cup slipped from my hand, shattering on the floor. I read it again, my chest tightening. My own daughter didn't want me at her wedding. I sat there, staring at the screen, tears blurring the words. Sophie was my only child, the one I'd raised alone after her dad, Michael, walked out when she was 5. I'd worked 2 jobs, cleaning houses and tutoring at night, to pay for her dance lessons, her school trips, her college. I sold my car to buy her a laptop when she got into art school. Every choice I made was for her, and now she was shutting me out of the biggest day of her life. The email didn't explain why, just a link to a live stream and a cold "Thanks for understanding." But I didn't understand. I felt like I'd been slapped. I tried calling her, my hands shaking. It went straight to voicemail. "Sophie, it's Mom," I said, my voice cracking. "I got your email. Please call me back. I need to know what's going on." She didn't call. I texted, "Why can't I come? Did I do something wrong?" No reply. The silence was worse than the email, like a wall between us. I thought of the veil, half finished on my dining table, the white lace I'd spent weeks perfecting. I'd pictured her wearing it, smiling at me as we walked down the aisle together. Now that dream was gone, replaced by a cold livestream link. I paced the house, memories flooding in. Sophie's first dance recital, her graduation, the nights we'd stayed up talking about her dreams. I thought we were close, but lately she'd been distant, always busy with her fiancé, Ethan, or his mom, Rachel. Rachel had come into the picture 3 years ago, when Sophie started dating Ethan. She was wealthy, always hosting fancy dinners, buying Sophie designer clothes. I couldn't compete with that, but I didn't think I had to. Sophie loved me, didn't she? Now, I wasn't sure. By noon, I couldn't take the silence. I drove to Sophie's apartment, my heart pounding. She lived across town, in a place Ethan's parents had helped them afford. I knocked, but no one answered. I waited, hoping she'd come home. But after an hour, I gave up. On my way back, I stopped by my neighbor Linda's house. She was outside, watering her flowers. "Olivia, you look awful," she said, her voice soft. I told her about the email, tears spilling over. "She doesn't want me there, Linda. My own daughter." Linda hugged me, her arms warm. "That's not right," she said. "You need to talk to her." Linda's words stuck with me, but so did the hurt. I went home and checked the email again, hoping I'd misread it. I hadn't. I opened my laptop, clicked the livestream link, and saw a test page for the wedding, with a photo of Sophie and Ethan smiling. Rachel was in the background, laughing, her arm around Sophie. My stomach twisted. Was Rachel the reason? Had she convinced Sophie to push me out? I closed the laptop, my hands shaking. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but a small voice inside me whispered, "What if Sophie doesn't want you?" That night, I sat at the dining table, the veil in front of me. I picked up the needle, but my hands wouldn't move. Instead, I cried, the kind of sobs that shake your whole body. I'd given Sophie everything, and now I was an outsider, reduced to a screen. But as the tears slowed, something else stirred. Anger, maybe, or determination. I wasn't going to watch my daughter's wedding from my couch. I'd raised her, loved her, and I deserved to know why she was shutting me out. I didn't know what I'd do yet, but I knew one thing. I wasn't giving up without a fight. I woke up the next morning with a heavy heart. Sophie's email still burning in my mind. The veil sat untouched on the dining table. A reminder of the wedding I wasn't invited to. I couldn't just sit there, so I grabbed my phone and called Sophie again. Voicemail. "Sophie, please," I said, my voice shaky. "Talk to me. I deserve to know why." No reply came. I tried texting, but my messages stayed unread. The silence was suffocating, like I'd lost her already. I needed answers, so I decided to go to Ethan's house, where Sophie spent most of her time. Maybe she'd talk to me face to face. I drove across town, my hands tight on the wheel. Ethan lived in a big house, paid for by his parents, Rachel and Tom. I'd only been there once for a holiday party, and felt out of place among their fancy furniture and expensive wine. I knocked on the door, my stomach in knots. Ethan answered, looking surprised. "Olivia, what are you doing here?" he asked, his voice polite but guarded. "I need to see Sophie," I said, trying to sound calm. He shifted, blocking the doorway. "She's not here. She's with my mom, planning wedding stuff." I felt a pang in my chest. Rachel again. "Ethan, why doesn't Sophie want me at the wedding?" I asked, my voice breaking. He looked away, rubbing his neck. "It's complicated, Olivia. She thinks it's easier this way. You know, with family stuff." I stared at him. "Family stuff? I'm her mother. What's easier about leaving me out?" He sighed, his eyes soft but firm. "Look, it's her call. I'm sorry." Before I could argue, he closed the door, leaving me standing there, tears stinging my eyes. I wanted to bang on the door, demand answers, but I didn't. I just stood there, feeling like a stranger. I drove home, the hurt turning to anger. Why was Rachel always in the middle of this? I thought back to the past year. Sophie spending holidays with Ethan's family, Rachel buying her a dress for the engagement party, Sophie calling her like a second mom. I'd brushed it off, thinking Sophie still needed me. Now, I wasn't sure. At home, I checked my email again, hoping for a reply. Nothing. But there was a new message from Rachel. My heart stopped. The subject was blank. I opened it. "Olivia, let's talk. Meet me at the coffee shop tomorrow, 10 a.m. It's about Sophie." No warmth, just a command. I stared at the email, my mind racing. Why did Rachel want to meet? Was she behind Sophie's decision? I called Linda, my neighbor, needing someone to talk to. "She's trying to control this," I said, my voice shaking. "Rachel's taking my place." Linda listened, her voice calm. "Olivia, go meet her. Find out what she wants. You're stronger than you think." Her words gave me a spark of courage, but the fear was still there. What if Rachel had turned Sophie against me for good? The next morning, I went to the coffee shop, my hands sweaty. Rachel was already there, sitting at a corner table, her designer purse on the chair. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Olivia, thanks for coming," she said, her voice smooth. I sat down, my heart pounding. "Why doesn't Sophie want me at her wedding?" I asked, cutting to the chase. Rachel sipped her coffee, her face calm. "She's worried about drama. You know, with Michael and all." I froze. Michael, Sophie's dad, hadn't been in our lives for years. What does he have to do with this? I asked. Rachel leaned forward, her voice low. "He's coming to the wedding. Sophie didn't tell you." My stomach dropped. "Michael, at the wedding? After abandoning us?" "No," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "She didn't." Rachel's eyes softened, but it felt fake. "She thought it'd be too much having you both there. She wants it to be perfect, you know?" I gripped my cup, anger bubbling. "So she picks him over me? After everything I did for her?" Rachel shrugged, like it was no big deal. "It's her choice, Olivia. You should respect it." I stood up, my chair scraping the floor. "Respect it?" I raised her alone while he ran off. "And you're telling me to watch from a screen?" Rachel's smile faded. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be," she said, her voice sharp. I walked out, tears burning my eyes. The twist hit me hard. Michael, back in Sophie's life, taking my place. Had Rachel planned this? I drove home, my mind spinning. I needed to talk to Sophie, but first, I had to find Michael. I dug through old papers, finding his last known number. My hands shook as I dialed. He answered, his voice rough. "Olivia? Been a while." I didn't waste time. "Why are you going to Sophie's wedding?" I asked. He paused, then laughed, bitter. "She invited me. Said she wanted her dad there. Didn't mention you." My heart sank. "You left us, Michael." I raised her. "Why does she want you now?" His voice softened. "Rachel's been helping us reconnect. She said Sophie needed her father." Another twist. Rachel, pulling strings, bringing Michael back to push me out. I hung up, my chest tight. Rachel wasn't just Sophie's future mother-in-law, she was orchestrating this. I went to my dining table, the veil staring back at me. I wanted to tear it apart, but instead, I picked up my phone and texted Sophie. I know about your dad. Why didn't you tell me? No reply. I sat there, tears falling, but a fire was growing inside me. I wasn't going to let Rachel or Michael take my daughter from me. I didn't know how, but I was going to fight for my place in Sophie's life, even if it meant crashing that wedding. I sat in my living room, the phone still in my hand, Michael's words echoing like a wound that wouldn't close. Sophie had invited her father to her wedding, the man who'd left us when she was 5, while I was told to stay away. My heart felt like it was being squeezed, the pain so sharp I could barely breathe. The veil on the dining table mocked me, its delicate lace a reminder of the love I'd poured into Sophie's life. I wanted to call her, to scream, to beg, but my fingers wouldn't move. Instead, tears fell, hot and heavy, soaking my shirt. I'd given her everything, and now I was nothing to her. I stood up, pacing, trying to make sense of it. Rachel's cold smile at the coffee shop, Michael's casual laugh on the phone. They were stealing my daughter, and I didn't know why. I grabbed my laptop, opening the livestream link again. The test page was still there, Sophie and Ethan smiling, Rachel in the background like she owned the moment. I slammed the laptop shut, my sobs breaking the silence. I couldn't watch my daughter's wedding like a stranger. I needed to know what I'd done to deserve this. I called Linda, my voice shaking. They're cutting me out, Linda, I said, tears choking my words. Sophie wants Michael there, not me. Rachel's behind it. Linda's voice was soft but firm. Olivia, you're her mom. Nobody can take that away. Go see her. Don't let them push you out. I wiped my eyes, her words sparking something in me. She was right. I wasn't giving up. I drove to Sophie's apartment again, my heart pounding. This time she was there, opening the door with a tired look. Mom, what are you doing here? She asked, stepping back. I walked in, my voice trembling. Why, Sophie? Why is your dad invited to your wedding and I'm not? Her eyes widened, then dropped to the floor. Who told you? She whispered. Michael did. I said, my voice breaking. And Rachel? They're acting like I don't exist. What did I do wrong? Sophie crossed her arms, her face tight. Mom, it's not about you. It's complicated. Dad's trying to make things right, and I thought it'd be too much with both of you there. I stared at her, tears spilling over. Too much. Sophie, I raised you alone. I sold my car for your school. I'm sewing your veil by hand. And you're choosing him. Sophie's eyes filled with tears, but her voice was sharp. You always bring that up, Mom. How much you gave up. It's heavy, okay? Rachel's easy to be around. She doesn't make me feel guilty. Her words cut like a knife. Guilty. I whispered. I loved you, Sophie. That's all I did. She looked away, wiping her eyes. I just wanted a perfect day. I thought you'd understand. I shook my head, my voice breaking. Understand? You told me to watch on a screen. Do you know how that feels? She didn't answer, just stared at the floor. I turned to leave, my heart shattering, but then I saw a photo on her shelf. Me and Sophie at her high school graduation. Both of us laughing. I grabbed it, holding it up. This is us, I said, tears streaming. You were my everything. What happened? Sophie's voice cracked. I don't know, Mom. I needed space. I put the photo down, my hands shaking. Space. From me? While Rachel and Michael take my place. She started to cry, but I couldn't stay. I walked out, the door slamming behind me, my sobs echoing in the hallway. I drove home, the pain overwhelming. At home, I found an old box of Sophie's things, her baby blanket, her first drawing, a Mother's Day card she'd made at 6. I held the card, reading her childish scrawl. I love you, Mommy. Tears fell onto the paper, smudging the ink. Where had that love gone? I was about to put the box away when my phone buzzed. It was a text from Noah, Sophie's childhood friend, who'd stayed close to our family. Olivia saw Sophie today. She's upset. Can we talk? My heart skipped. Noah knew Sophie better than anyone. Maybe he knew something. I called him, my voice hoarse. Noah, what's going on with Sophie? He sighed, his voice heavy. She's confused, Olivia. Rachel's been telling her you're too controlling, that you hold her back. She's got Sophie thinking you'll ruin the wedding. My blood ran cold. Controlling? I whispered. I gave her everything. Noah's voice softened. I know. But Rachel's got money, influence. She's pushing Sophie to choose her and Michael. I tried talking to her, but she's torn. I gripped the phone, anger mixing with pain. Why didn't she tell me? Noah paused. She's scared, Olivia. She loves you, but Rachel's in her head. I hung up, my mind spinning. Rachel wasn't just taking my place. She was poisoning Sophie against me. I went to my computer, searching for Rachel online. Her social media was full of photos with Sophie, dinners, shopping trips, wedding planning. One post showed Sophie trying on her wedding dress, Rachel beaming beside her. The caption read, "My almost daughter." My heart broke all over again. But then I saw a comment from Michael. Proud to walk her down the aisle. The twist hit me like a punch. Michael wasn't just attending. He was replacing me in every way. I sat back, tears falling, but a new feeling stirred, resolve. I wasn't going to let Rachel and Michael erase me. I grabbed the veil, my hands steady for the first time. I'd finish it, not for Sophie, but for me, to prove I was still her mother. Linda stopped by that night, bringing cookies. You're fighting, aren't you? She asked, her eyes kind. I nodded, tears in my eyes. I have to, Linda. She's my daughter. She hugged me, her voice firm. You're stronger than they know, Olivia. As she left, I looked at the veil, the needle waiting. I didn't know what I'd do next, but I knew I wasn't watching that wedding from a screen. I sat at my dining table, the veil in my hands, the needle moving slowly through the lace. Each stitch felt like a fight to hold on to Sophie, but my heart was still raw from her words and Noah's revelation. Rachel had convinced Sophie I was controlling, that I'd ruin her wedding. The idea that my daughter believed it tore me apart. I wanted to call her, to beg her to see the truth, but I knew it wouldn't work. Rachel's influence was too strong, and Michael's return had tipped the scales. I needed proof, something to show Sophie who Rachel really was. I put the veil down and grabbed my phone, calling Noah again. Noah, I need your help, I said, my voice shaky but determined. Rachel's turning Sophie against me. Do you know anything else? Noah hesitated, his voice low. Olivia, I didn't want to say this before, but Rachel's been talking to Sophie's boss. She got Sophie a big promotion last month, but there's a catch. Rachel's been pushing her to move to New York after the wedding, away from you. My heart stopped. Move to New York? I whispered. She never told me. Noah sighed. Rachel said it's better for Sophie's career. I think she's trying to cut you out completely. I hung up, my hands trembling. A new twist. Rachel wasn't just taking my place at the wedding. She was planning to take Sophie away for good. I felt sick, like the ground was slipping beneath me. I went to my computer, searching for more on Rachel. Her social media was polished, but I found an old article about her business, a real estate firm. It mentioned a lawsuit from years ago. Clients accused her of manipulating contracts for profit. My stomach twisted. Was Rachel manipulating Sophie the same way? I printed the article, my mind racing. I needed to talk to someone who knew her. I called my old friend Grace, who'd worked in real estate years ago. Olivia, it's been forever, she said, her voice warm. I told her about Sophie, the wedding, and Rachel. Do you know anything about Rachel Turner? I asked. Grace's tone changed, sharp and cautious. Rachel? She's bad news, Olivia. I knew her when she started her firm. She'd do anything to get what she wants. Lie, charm, even ruin people. Be careful. I gripped the phone, my heart pounding. She's after my daughter, Grace. What do I do? Grace's voice was firm. Find proof. She's not as untouchable as she thinks. Grace's words gave me a plan. I drove to Sophie's workplace, a design studio downtown. I knew it was a long shot, but maybe her boss could confirm Noah's story. The receptionist let me in, and I found Sophie's boss, Karen, in her office. Olivia, good to see you, she said, smiling. I didn't waste time. Karen, did Rachel Turner help Sophie get a promotion? I asked. Karen's smile faded, her eyes cautious. Yes, Rachel's been involved. She's a big client, And she pushed for Sophie's promotion. Said it'd lead to a New York transfer. My chest tightened. Did Sophie want that? Karen hesitated. She seemed unsure, but Rachel was insistent. I thought Sophie told you. I left the office, my head spinning. Another twist. Rachel wasn't just influencing Sophie. She was controlling her career, her future. I drove to Ethan's house, hoping to catch Sophie there. Ethan answered, looking annoyed. Olivia, you can't keep showing up, he said. I pushed past him, my voice desperate. Where's Sophie? I know about New York, Ethan. Rachel's behind it. His face paled, but before he could answer, Sophie walked in, her eyes wide. Mom, what are you doing here? She asked, her voice sharp. I held up the article about Rachel, my hands shaking. Rachel's using you, Sophie. She's been lying, manipulating you. She's planning to move you to New York to get you away from me. Sophie's face hardened. That's not true, Mom. Rachel's helping me. You're just jealous. I stepped closer, tears in my eyes. Jealous? Sophie, I'm your mother. I raised you. She's the one who got your dad back in your life to push me out. Sophie's eyes flickered, but she shook her head. You don't get it, Mom. I need this. New York's my chance to be someone. Her words broke me. Be someone. I whispered. You're already someone. My daughter. She looked away, tears in her eyes. I can't do this right now, Mom. Please leave. Ethan put his hand on her shoulder, his voice soft. Let's talk later, Olivia. I wanted to scream, to shake her, but I saw the wall between us. I walked out, my heart in pieces, tears streaming down my face. Rachel had won, and I was losing Sophie. I drove home, the pain overwhelming. But as I pulled into my driveway, I saw a car I didn't recognize. A woman got out, Michael's sister, Ava, someone I hadn't seen in years. Olivia, we need to talk, she said, her face serious. My heart raced. What is it? I asked. She held up a folder, her voice low. It's about Michael and Rachel. They're not just reconnecting with Sophie. They're planning to take her inheritance. My blood ran cold. Inheritance? I asked. Ava nodded. When my mom died, she left money for Sophie in a trust. Rachel's been working with Michael to get it. That's why they're so close to her now. I took the folder, my hands trembling. Inside were bank statements, emails between Rachel and Michael, planning to access Sophie's trust fund after the wedding. My tears stopped, replaced by a burning anger. Rachel wasn't just stealing my daughter. She was stealing her future. I looked at Ava, my voice steady. Why are you telling me this? She sighed, her eyes sad. Because you're Sophie's mom. She needs you, even if she doesn't know it. I nodded, a new resolve forming. Rachel and Michael thought they'd won, but I wasn't done fighting. I'd protect Sophie, no matter what it took. I stood in my driveway, clutching Ava's folder, the weight of her words sinking in. Rachel and Michael weren't just pushing me out of Sophie's wedding. They were after her inheritance, a trust fund I didn't even know existed. My heart pounded, a mix of anger and fear. Sophie was slipping away, not just from me but from her own future, and she didn't even see it. I thanked Ava, my voice shaky. I'll stop them, I said. She nodded, her eyes kind but worried. Be careful, Olivia. Rachel's ruthless. As Ava drove off, I went inside, the folder burning in my hands. I needed to act fast, but first, I needed to understand what I was up against. I spread the papers on my kitchen table, my hands trembling. The bank statements showed transfers to an account I didn't recognize, and the emails between Rachel and Michael were chilling. Once Sophie's married, we'll push for access, Rachel wrote. Michael replied, she trusts me now. It won't be hard. My stomach churned. They were using Sophie's love for her father to steal from her. I thought of her face at Ethan's house, so sure Rachel was helping her. How could I make her see the truth when she believed I was the problem? I called Noah, my voice urgent. Noah, Rachel and Michael are after Sophie's trust fund. I have proof. He gasped. Olivia, that's huge. But Sophie's not listening. She's at Rachel's now, picking out flowers. My heart sank. She's with Rachel? I asked. Noah's voice was heavy. Yeah. And Ethan's there too. Rachel's got them wrapped around her finger. I gripped the phone, a new twist hitting me. Ethan might be in on it. Noah, do you think Ethan knows? I asked. He paused. I don't know. He's loyal to his mom, but he loves Sophie. It's messy. I hung up, my mind racing. I needed more than papers to convince Sophie. I grabbed my keys and drove to Rachel's house, a big mansion on the edge of town. My hands shook as I parked, but I wasn't turning back. I knocked, and Rachel opened the door, her smile tight. Olivia, this is unexpected, she said, her voice cold. I need to see Sophie, I said, my voice firm. Rachel stepped outside, closing the door behind her. She's busy. Wedding plans. You should go. I held up the folder, my heart pounding. I know about the trust fund, Rachel. You're stealing from my daughter. Rachel's face didn't change, but her eyes narrowed. You're out of line, she said, her voice like ice. Those are lies. I stepped closer, tears in my eyes. I have emails, bank records. You and Michael are using Sophie. Rachel laughed, sharp and cruel. You think Sophie will believe you? She trusts me. You're just the mom who holds her back. Her words cut deep, but I didn't flinch. I'm her mother. I'll fight for her. Rachel's smile returned, colder now. You'll lose, Olivia. Go home. Watch the live stream. She went inside, slamming the door. I stood there, tears falling, but a new twist stopped me cold. The door had opened again, and Ethan was there, his face pale. I heard you, he whispered. Is it true? I nodded, showing him the folder. Rachel's after Sophie's money. So is my ex-husband. Ethan's hands shook as he scanned the papers. I didn't know, he said, his voice breaking. Mom's been weird lately, pushing Sophie to sign papers. I thought it was just wedding stuff. My heart raced. Papers? What kind? He looked away, guilty. Some financial thing. She said it was signing off on her future. I grabbed his arm, my voice desperate. Ethan, you have to stop her. She's stealing from Sophie. He nodded, his eyes wet. I love her, Olivia. I didn't know. He promised to talk to Sophie, but as I drove home, doubt crept in. What if Ethan was lying, protecting Rachel? At home, I found a voicemail from Sophie. Mom, stop, she said, her voice sharp. Rachel told me you're spreading lies. I can't handle this. I listened, my heart breaking. She was further gone than I thought, and Rachel was winning. I called Linda, my voice shaking. I'm losing her, Linda, I said, tears streaming. Rachel's got everyone fooled. Linda came over, her voice calm. Olivia, you're not alone. Keep fighting. She suggested I talk to Ava again, maybe get more proof. I called Ava, who dropped another bombshell. Olivia, there's something else, she said. Rachel's been buying off people at Sophie's work. That promotion? It wasn't just a favor. Rachel paid for it, to control Sophie's life. My blood ran cold. Paid for it? I asked. Ava's voice was grim. Yes. I found a check from Rachel to Sophie's boss. It's all a setup. I hung up, my hands trembling. Rachel wasn't just after the trust fund. She was buying Sophie's entire life. I went to my dining table, the veil staring back at me. I picked up the needle, my tears falling onto the lace. Each stitch felt like a promise to save Sophie, but the twists kept coming. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Back off, Olivia, or Sophie pays the price. My heart stopped. It had to be Rachel. I showed Linda, who gasped. She's dangerous, she said. You need help. I nodded, my resolve hardening. Rachel thought she could scare me, but I wasn't backing down. I'd protect Sophie, even if it meant facing Rachel head-on. Rachel's threatening text stared back at me from my phone. The words like a knife. Back off, Olivia, or Sophie pays the price. My hands shook, but I wasn't scared anymore, just angry. She'd manipulated my daughter, bought her job, and now threatened her safety to keep me quiet. I showed Linda the message, my voice trembling. She's gone too far, I said. Linda's eyes widened, but her voice was steady. Olivia, you need to go to the police. I nodded, but deep down I knew it wasn't enough. I had to get through to Sophie before Rachel's lies buried us both. I called Ava, my heart racing. Rachel sent me a threat, I said, reading her the text. Ava's voice was sharp. She's desperate, Olivia. I found more. Rachel's been forging documents to get Sophie's trust fund early. She's planning to transfer it before the wedding. My stomach dropped. Before the wedding? I asked. That's days away. Ava's tone was urgent. Yes. She's meeting a lawyer tomorrow to finalize it. I've got the meeting details, time, place. You need to stop her. I scribbled down the information, my resolve hardening. Rachel wasn't just stealing, she was racing against time. I drove to Sophie's apartment, hoping to catch her alone. The wedding was so close, and I couldn't let Rachel win. Sophie opened the door, her face tired. Mom, why are you here again? She asked, her voice sharp. I held up the folder Ava gave me, my voice breaking. Sophie, Rachel's stealing your trust fund. I have proof, emails, bank records. She's forging papers to take it before your wedding. Sophie's eyes narrowed. You're obsessed, Mom. Rachel's helping me, not stealing. Why can't you let me be happy? Her words hurt, but I pushed on, tears in my eyes. Happy? She's lying to you, Sophie. She paid your boss for that promotion. She's moving you to New York to control you. And now she's threatening you. I showed her the text, but Sophie shook her head, tears spilling. That's not her, Mom. You're making this up. I grabbed her hand, desperate. Sophie, I'm your mother. I'd never lie to you. Rachel's using you, just like she used your dad. Sophie pulled away, her voice cold. Leave, Mom. I can't do this. I left, my heart in pieces, tears streaming down my face. As I got in my car, Ethan pulled up, his face pale. Olivia, I need to talk, he said, his voice low. I wiped my eyes, wary. What is it? He glanced around, nervous. I found something. Mom's been hiding papers in her office, stuff about Sophie's trust fund. I think you're right. My heart raced, another twist. Ethan, Rachel's own son, was turning against her. Show me, I said. He nodded, leading me to his car. They're at her house. I'll get you in. We drove to Rachel's mansion, my stomach in knots. Ethan let me in quietly, leading me to Rachel's office. The room was pristine, but Ethan pulled a locked drawer open with a spare key. Inside were documents, forged trust fund papers with Sophie's signature, dated for tomorrow. My hands shook as I took photos. Why are you helping me? I asked, my voice soft. Ethan's eyes were wet. I love Sophie. Mom's gone too far. I didn't know about the threats. I believed him, his pain real, but I couldn't trust anyone completely. As we left the office, the front door opened. Rachel walked in, her face darkening when she saw us. What are you doing here? She snapped, her eyes on the folder in my hand. I stood tall, my voice steady despite the tears. I know everything, Rachel. The forgeries, the trust fund, the threats. It's over. She laughed, but it was nervous. You're delusional, Olivia. Nobody will believe you. Ethan stepped forward, his voice shaking. I believe her, Mom. I saw the papers. Rachel's face went white, her voice venomous. You're betraying me? For her. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. It was Noah. Olivia, get out of there, he whispered. Rachel's lawyer just showed up at her house. My heart stopped, another twist. We were caught. I grabbed Ethan's arm, whispering, we need to go. But Rachel blocked the door, her voice cold. You're not leaving with those papers. I clutched the folder, tears in my eyes. You can't stop me, Rachel. I'm saving my daughter. Ethan pushed past her, pulling me toward the back door. We ran to his car, my heart pounding, Rachel's shouts fading behind us. We drove to my house, my hands shaking. Ethan was quiet, his face torn. I didn't know it was this bad, he said, his voice breaking. I nodded, tears falling. Help me save her, Ethan. He promised to try, but I wasn't sure. At home, Linda was waiting, her eyes wide when I told her everything. You need a lawyer, Olivia, she said. I agreed, but first I needed Sophie to see the truth. I texted her the photos of the forged papers, my message simple. Sophie, this is Rachel's plan. Please believe me. No reply came, but I wasn't giving up. That night, I got a call from Grace, my old friend. Olivia, I dug deeper into Rachel, she said. She's done this before. Tricked a young couple out of their inheritance 10 years ago. It's public record. My blood ran cold. Rachel wasn't just a manipulator, she was a repeat offender. I thanked Grace, my resolve stronger. But as I hung up, my phone buzzed with another text from the unknown number. You're making a mistake, Olivia. Sophie will hate you. My heart raced. Rachel wasn't backing down, and the wedding was 2 days away. I looked at the veil, half finished, and picked up the needle. I'd fight for Sophie, no matter what it cost me. Rachel's latest threat echoed in my mind as I sat at my kitchen table. The folder of evidence spread out before me. Sophie will hate you, she'd texted, and those words cut deeper than anything else. I'd sent Sophie the photos of the forged trust fund papers, but she hadn't replied. The wedding was tomorrow, and I felt like I was running out of time. My hands trembled as I stitched the veil, each thread a desperate hope to hold on to my daughter. I wanted to believe Ethan was on my side, but Rachel's grip was so tight, I wasn't sure anyone could break it. I called Linda, my voice breaking. She's not stopping, Linda, I said, tears falling. Rachel's threatening me and Sophie won't listen. Linda came over, her eyes fierce. Olivia, you're stronger than this. You've got proof. Use it. She suggested I take the evidence to a lawyer, someone who could stop Rachel legally. I nodded, but my heart ached. I didn't just want to win, I wanted Sophie back. I called Ava, hoping for more help. Ava, Rachel's meeting her lawyer today, I said. Can you find out who it is? Ava's voice was tense. I'll try, but Olivia, there's something else. Michael's not just in on it, he's been blackmailing Rachel. My heart stopped. Blackmailing her? I asked, gripping the phone. Ava explained, he found out about her past scams, the couple she cheated years ago. He's using it to get a bigger cut of Sophie's trust fund. The twist hit me hard. Michael wasn't just a pawn. He was playing Rachel, and Sophie was caught in the middle. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I asked, my voice shaking. Ava sighed. I just found out. He's meeting Rachel tonight at her office. I'll send you the address. I hung up, my mind spinning. Michael's betrayal was worse than I thought, but it was a chance to expose them both. I grabbed the folder and drove to Rachel's office, a sleek building downtown. The wedding was so close, and I couldn't wait anymore. I parked across the street, watching the entrance. Soon, Michael's old truck pulled up and he went inside. My heart raced, another twist. Rachel's car was already there. I waited, my hands sweaty, then saw them through a window, arguing. I crept closer, hiding behind a hedge, and heard Michael's voice, loud and angry. I want half, Rachel, or I tell Sophie everything. Rachel's voice was sharp. You'll get nothing if you ruin this, Michael. I took out my phone, recording their words, my hands trembling. This was it, proof they were both against Sophie. But then I heard footsteps behind me. I turned, and Noah was there, his face pale. Olivia, what are you doing? He whispered, pulling me back. You can't be here. I showed him my phone, tears in my eyes. They're stealing from Sophie, Noah. I'm getting proof. He nodded, his voice low. I'm with you, but we need to be smart. Rachel's dangerous. We hid, watching as Michael stormed out, Rachel following, her face furious. I thought we were safe, but then my phone buzzed with a call from Sophie. Mom, why are you doing this? She asked, her voice shaking. Rachel said you're stalking her. My heart sank. Rachel had gotten to her again. Sophie, listen, I said, tears streaming. I have proof. Rachel and your dad are after your trust fund. I recorded them. There was silence, then a sob. I don't know who to believe, Mom. I just want my wedding to be perfect. I clutched the phone, my voice desperate. You're my daughter, Sophie. I'm fighting for you. She hung up, and I felt like I'd lost her all over again. Noah grabbed my arm, his voice urgent. We need to go. Rachel's coming this way. We ran to my car, my heart pounding. At home, I played the recording for Linda, who gasped. This is enough to stop them, she said. But I wasn't sure. Sophie didn't believe me, and Rachel was still pulling strings. I called Grace, my old friend, for advice. Olivia, take this to the police, she said. But there's more. I found an old colleague of Rachel's. She says Rachel's been bribing people to keep Sophie's trust fund secret, even from Ethan. My blood ran cold, another twist. Ethan doesn't know? I asked. Grace's voice was grim. No. Rachel's kept him in the dark, using him to get to Sophie. I hung up, my mind racing. Ethan had helped me, but what if he found out his mom was lying to him too? I texted him. Meet me. I have proof about your mom. He replied instantly. Where? We met at a park, his face torn. I played the recording, watching his eyes widen. She's been lying to me, he said, his voice breaking. I thought she was helping Sophie. I touched his shoulder, tears in my eyes. Help me save her, Ethan. He nodded, but then his phone buzzed. He read the message, his face paling. It's Mom, he said. She knows I'm with you. She's at the wedding venue now with Sophie. My heart stopped, another twist. Rachel was making her move, and the wedding was tomorrow. We have to go, I said, my voice firm. Ethan agreed, but as we drove, my phone buzzed with a new text from the unknown number. You're too late, Olivia. Sophie's mine. I showed Ethan, my hands shaking. She's not giving up, I said, tears falling. He gripped the wheel, his voice fierce. Neither are we. We sped toward the venue, my heart pounding. I didn't know if Sophie would listen, but I had the recording, the papers, and Ethan on my side. Rachel thought she'd won, but I was her mother, and I'd fight until the end. The veil was still at home, half finished, but I wasn't sewing for Sophie anymore. I was fighting for myself too. Linda's words echoed. You're stronger than you think. For the first time, I believed it. Ethan's car sped toward the wedding venue. My heart pounding as Rachel's last text burned in my mind. Sophie's mine. The folder of evidence, forged trust fund papers, emails, and my phone recording of Rachel and Michael's argument, sat heavy in my lap. I glanced at Ethan, his knuckles white on the wheel, his face a mix of anger and guilt. I should have seen it, he said, his voice breaking. Mom's been lying to me my whole life. I touched his arm, tears in my eyes. You're helping now, Ethan. That's what matters. But doubt not at me. Could I trust him, or was this another of Rachel's traps? We pulled into the venue, a grand hall with white flowers lining the entrance. It was late, but lights glowed inside, and I saw Sophie's car parked nearby. My chest tightened, she was here with Rachel. We got out, the night air cold against my wet cheeks. Stay quiet, Ethan whispered, leading me to a side door. Inside we heard voices, Rachel's sharp and commanding, and Sophie's, soft and uncertain. I peeked around a corner, and saw them in a decorated room. Flowers and chairs set for tomorrow's wedding. Sophie held a pen, a document in front of her, while Rachel stood over her, smiling. I started forward, but Ethan grabbed my arm. Wait, he hissed, pointing to a man in the shadows, Rachel's lawyer holding a briefcase. My heart raced, another twist. They were finalizing the trust fund transfer now, before the wedding. I whispered to Ethan, we have to stop her. He nodded. But before we could move, my phone buzzed loudly. Sophie's head snapped up. What was that? She asked, her voice shaky. Rachel's eyes darted toward us, and I froze, my breath catching. Who's there? Rachel called, her voice like ice. Ethan stepped out, pulling me with him. It's us, Mom, he said, his voice firm. Sophie's eyes widened, tears brimming. Mom. Ethan? What's going on? I held up the folder, my voice trembling. Sophie, Rachel's stealing your trust fund. These papers prove it. She forged your signature. And your dad's in on it. Rachel laughed, but it was forced. Olivia, you're pathetic. Sophie, she's lying to ruin your day. Sophie looked between us, her face torn. Mom, stop, she said, her voice breaking. Why can't you let me be happy? I stepped closer, tears streaming. Happy? Sophie, she's using you. I recorded her and Michael planning to take your money. I played the recording, their voices clear. Sophie's face paled, her hands shaking. That's Dad, she whispered. Rachel's smile vanished, her voice sharp. It's fake, Sophie. She's desperate. But Ethan spoke up, his voice raw. It's real, Sophie. I saw the papers in Mom's office. She's been lying to us both. Sophie's tears fell, her voice a sob. Ethan, you knew? Before Ethan could answer, the lawyer stepped forward, his face nervous. This is a misunderstanding, he said, grabbing the document from Sophie. I saw my chance and snatched it, my heart pounding. It was a trust fund transfer, Sophie's signature forged. Look at this, I said, holding it up. Sophie grabbed it, her eyes scanning the page. This isn't my writing, she whispered, looking at Rachel. You did this. Rachel's face hardened. You're making a mistake, Sophie. I'm protecting you. But Sophie stepped back, tears streaming. Protecting me? You lied. I thought we'd won, but another twist hit. The door burst open, and Michael stormed in, his face red. What's going on? He shouted, glaring at me. Olivia, you're ruining everything. Sophie turned to him, her voice shaking. Dad, is it true? You're stealing from me. Michael froze, his eyes darting to Rachel. No, sweetheart, it's not like that, he said, but his voice cracked. Rachel snapped. Michael, shut up. I saw the fear in his eyes. Another twist. He wasn't just her partner. He was scared of her. I spoke, my voice steady despite the tears. Sophie, they've been planning this for months. Rachel paid your boss, brought your dad back, all to get your money. Sophie's face crumpled, her voice a whisper. Why, Dad? I trusted you. Michael's shoulders slumped, his voice low. I was broke, Sophie. Rachel said it'd be easy. Sophie sobbed, dropping the document. You both used me? Ethan grabbed her hand, his voice soft. Sophie, I didn't know. I swear. She pulled away, tears falling, and ran out of the room. I started after her, but Rachel grabbed my arm, her nails digging in. You'll pay for this, she hissed, her eyes wild. I yanked free, my voice fierce. No, Rachel. You're done. Ethan pushed her back, his voice shaking. Mom, stop. Rachel glared at him, then turned to the lawyer. Get me out of here, she said, but he backed away, muttering. I'm not part of this. Rachel stormed out, Michael following, leaving us in stunned silence. I wanted to chase Sophie, but Ethan stopped me. Give her time, Olivia, he said, his eyes wet. She's hurting. We drove to my house, my heart heavy. Sophie was gone, and I didn't know where. I called Noah, my voice breaking. She knows the truth, but she ran, I said. Noah's voice was calm. She's at my place, Olivia. She's safe, but she's a mess. Relief flooded me, but so did pain. Does she hate me? I asked, tears falling. Noah sighed. She's confused. Come tomorrow, before the wedding. I agreed, but as I hung up, my phone buzzed with a voicemail from an unknown number. It was Rachel, her voice cold. You think you've won? Check Sophie's email. My blood ran cold, another twist. I grabbed my laptop, logging into Sophie's email with a password she'd used years ago. There was a new message from Rachel, sent an hour ago, with a video attachment. I played it, my heart pounding. It showed Sophie at a dinner with Rachel, laughing, saying, I'm so glad you're here, Rachel. Mom's too much sometimes. My heart shattered. Rachel had recorded it to hurt me, to make Sophie doubt me. But the email had a note. Sophie, your mom's lying. Trust me, not her. I slammed the laptop shut, tears streaming. Rachel was still fighting, even now. I looked at the veil, my hands trembling. I'd fought so hard, but Sophie was slipping away. Linda stopped by, her voice soft. You're almost there, Olivia, she said, hugging me. Don't give up. I nodded, tears in my eyes. Tomorrow was the wedding, and I'd face Sophie, Rachel, everyone. I wasn't sure if I'd win, but I knew one thing. I wasn't watching from a screen. Rachel's video of Sophie laughing and calling me too much played over and over in my head, each word a fresh wound. I sat in my dark living room, the folder of evidence beside me, the veil on the table, its lace glowing under the lamp. The wedding was hours away, and Sophie was at Noah's, hurting and confused. I'd shown her the truth, Rachel and Michael's plan to steal her trust fund. But Rachel's lies were still pulling her away. My phone was silent, no reply from Sophie, and I felt like I was losing her for good. Tears fell, but I wasn't ready to give up. I had to face her no matter what. I called Noah, my voice shaky. Is Sophie okay? I asked. He sighed, his voice soft. She's crying, Olivia. She saw the video Rachel sent. She's torn, doesn't know who to trust. My heart sank. I'm coming over, I said, grabbing the folder and the veil. Noah hesitated. Be gentle. She's fragile. I hung up, my hands trembling. I drove to Noah's apartment, the night air cold, my mind racing. What if Sophie believed Rachel's video over me? What if I'd lost her forever? I pushed the thought away, clutching the veil like a lifeline. At Noah's, Sophie opened the door, her eyes red and puffy. "Mom," she whispered, her voice breaking. I stepped inside, tears in my eyes. "Sophie, I'm here," I said, holding out the veil. "I made this for you. Not for the wedding, but because you're my daughter." She took it, her hands shaking, and sobbed. "Why is this happening?" she asked, sinking onto the couch. I sat beside her, my voice soft. "Rachel's been lying, Sophie. She wants your trust fund, and she's using you to get it." Sophie looked at me, tears streaming. "But that video." I said those things. I took her hand, my heart aching. "You were hurt, Sophie. I've been too much sometimes, but I love you. Rachel twisted that to hurt us." Noah stood nearby, his face sad. "She's telling the truth, Sophie," he said. "I saw the papers." Sophie wiped her eyes, her voice small. "I wanted Dad back, Mom. Rachel said he'd changed." I nodded, tears falling. "I know. But he's with Rachel, stealing from you." I showed her the forged documents again, my voice steady. "This is real, Sophie. They're not your family. I am." Before she could reply, my phone buzzed. It was Ethan, his voice panicked. "Olivia, Mom's at the venue with a new lawyer. She's trying to push the trust fund transfer tonight." My heart stopped, another twist. Rachel wasn't waiting for the wedding. "Sophie, we have to go," I said, standing. She shook her head, tears falling. "I can't face her, Mom. I'm scared." I hugged her, my voice fierce. "You don't have to do it alone. I'm with you." Noah grabbed his keys. "I'm coming too," he said, his eyes determined. We drove to the venue, Sophie clutching the veil, her face pale. Inside, Rachel was in a side room, her new lawyer beside her, papers spread out. She looked up, her smile fading when she saw us. "Sophie, what are you doing here?" she asked, her voice sweet but sharp. I stepped forward, my voice steady despite the tears. "It's over, Rachel. Sophie knows everything." Sophie held up the forged document, her voice shaking. "You lied to me. You used me." Rachel's eyes narrowed, but she laughed. "You're confused, dear. Your mom's poisoning you." Ethan burst in, his face angry. "No, Mom. You're the liar. I told the police about the trust fund." My heart raced, another twist. Ethan had gone to the authorities. Rachel's face went white, her voice sharp. "You're betraying me?" Ethan's voice broke. "You betrayed Sophie. I love her, not your lies." The lawyer grabbed his briefcase, muttering, "I'm out." Rachel glared at me, her voice venomous. "You think you've won? Sophie will never forgive you." Sophie stepped forward, tears streaming. "I already have, Rachel. Mom's my family, not you." I thought it was over, but another twist hit. Michael walked in, his face desperate. "Sophie, wait," he said, his voice pleading. "I didn't mean for this. Rachel forced me." Sophie's face hardened, her voice cold. "You chose money over me, Dad. You're no father." Michael's eyes filled with tears, but he didn't argue. Rachel grabbed his arm, her voice frantic. "We can fix this, Michael." He pulled away, his voice low. "No. I'm done." He walked out, leaving Rachel alone, her face a mask of rage. The police arrived, Ethan's call bringing them fast. An officer approached Rachel, her voice calm. "We need to talk about the trust fund fraud." Rachel's eyes darted to me, then Sophie, but she said nothing as they led her away. Sophie fell into my arms, sobbing. "I'm so sorry, Mom," she said, her voice muffled. I held her tight, tears falling. "You're here now, Sophie. That's enough." Ethan watched, his face torn, but he nodded at me, a silent thank you. We left the venue, Noah driving us to my house. Sophie held the veil, her voice soft. "You never gave up on me," she said, tears in her eyes. I smiled, my heart full. "I never will." But as we got home, my phone buzzed with a text from Ava. "Check Rachel's office. There's more." My stomach twisted, another twist. I told Sophie and Ethan, their faces pale. We drove to Rachel's office, finding a hidden file in her desk. It was a letter from Rachel to Michael, dated years ago, admitting she'd planned to reconnect him with Sophie to get the trust fund. My heart broke for Sophie, who read it, tears falling. She planned this from the start, she whispered. I hugged her, my voice steady. She's gone, Sophie. We're free. But the pain lingered. The wedding was tomorrow, and I didn't know if Sophie would go through with it. I looked at the veil in her hands, my tears mixing with hers. Rachel had tried to break us, but we were still here together. I wasn't sure what the morning would bring, but I knew I'd face it with Sophie by my side. The letter from Rachel to Michael, confessing her plan to use Sophie for the trust fund, lay heavy in my hands as we stood in Rachel's office. Sophie's tears soaked my shoulder, her voice a broken whisper. She never cared about me, Mom. I held her tight, my own tears falling, but a fire burned inside me. Rachel was gone, arrested for fraud, and Michael had walked away, but the pain they'd caused lingered. The wedding was hours away, and I didn't know if Sophie could face it. I looked at the veil in her hands, its lace a symbol of my love, and knew we had to find a way forward together. We drove home, Sophie silent beside me, Ethan and Noah following. At my house, we sat in the living room, the folder of evidence on the table, a reminder of how close we'd come to losing everything. Sophie spoke first, her voice small. Mom, I don't know if I can get married tomorrow. Not after this. Ethan took her hand, his eyes wet. Sophie, I love you. We don't need a big wedding. We can wait. I watched them, my heart aching but proud. Sophie wasn't the girl Rachel had manipulated anymore. She was finding her strength. I touched her shoulder, my voice soft. Sophie, whatever you choose, I'm here. But you deserve to be happy, not haunted by Rachel. She looked at me, tears brimming. I hurt you, Mom. That email. I was so stupid. I shook my head, tears falling. You were lost, Sophie. But you came back to me. She hugged me, her sobs shaking us both. I love you, she whispered. I want you at my wedding, not a live stream. My heart swelled, the pain of her email fading. I'd fought for her, and she'd chosen me. But another twist came. Noah's phone buzzed, and he frowned, reading a message. It's from Ava, he said. The police found more in Rachel's files. She wasn't just after the trust fund. She'd planned to frame you, Olivia, for fraud if things went wrong. My blood ran cold. Frame me? I asked. Noah nodded, his voice grim. She had fake documents with your name, ready to plant. The police stopped it. Sophie gasped, her voice shaking. She wanted to ruin you, Mom? I nodded, tears in my eyes. She tried, but she didn't win. The revelation hit Sophie hard. She stood, clutching the veil, her voice fierce. I'm not letting her take my wedding, too. She turned to Ethan, her eyes bright. Let's do it, but our way. Small, just us and Mom. Ethan smiled, his face lighting up. Anything you want. I felt a spark of hope, but Sophie grabbed my hand, her voice soft. Mom, will you walk me down the aisle? Tears streamed down my face as I nodded. Always, Sophie. The moment was everything I'd dreamed, healing the wound of her email. We planned a new wedding for that afternoon in my backyard. Linda helped set up chairs, Noah brought flowers, and Ava arrived with a cake she'd baked. The veil was finished, my stitches imperfect but full of love. Sophie wore a simple white dress, the veil glowing in the sunlight. As I walked her down the aisle, a path of petals in my garden, her arm in mine, I felt whole. Ethan waited, his eyes on Sophie, love clear in his face. Noah stood as best man, smiling at me. The ceremony was short, their vows honest and raw. I promised to trust you, to choose you, Sophie said, glancing at me. I cried, my heart full. After, we ate cake under string lights, laughter filling the air. Sophie pulled me aside, her voice soft. Mom, I'm staying here, not New York. I want to be close to you. I hugged her, tears falling. I'm so proud of you, I said. She smiled, the veil still in her hair. I'm proud of you too. You never gave up. Ethan joined us, his voice quiet. I'm sorry about my mom, Olivia. I'll make it right. I nodded, seeing his pain. You're family now, Ethan. That's enough. But one final twist came. A week later, Ava called. Olivia, the trust fund's safe, she said. Sophie gets it, but there's more. Rachel's firm collapsed. Her clients found out about her scams. The police want your help with the case. I was stunned. Rachel's empire was gone, and I had a chance to ensure justice. I agreed, but my focus was elsewhere. I'd started a small sewing shop, teaching others to make things with love, like the veil. Sophie helped, her art skills shining in the designs. We were building something new, together. The moral of my story was clear. Love fiercely, but stand up for yourself. I'd spent years giving everything to Sophie, but Rachel's schemes taught me I was worth fighting for, too. My shop thrived, Sophie and Ethan grew stronger, and I woke each day knowing I was enough. One evening, Sophie gave me a photo from the wedding, me walking her down the aisle, both of us smiling. I hung it in my shop, a reminder of what we'd overcome. Rachel's livestream link was long forgotten. I'd claimed my place not on a screen, but in my daughter's heart.